All right, let's talk about the Sui blockchain, because wow, did it have a massive second quarter in 2025. The latest Misery report just dropped, and it shows Sui didn't just grow, it absolutely smashed records across the board. So let's dive right into the numbers that tell this incredible story.
To really get a feel for this, you have to start with the money that was actually moving around. We're talking about daily trading on its decentralized exchanges. So on any given day, nearly $368 million was changing hands. That's not just a new record, it's a huge sign that people are actually using this thing day in and day out.
And all that activity? Well, it piled up into some serious value. The total amount of money locked into Sui's DeFi world, its TVL, jumped by more than 44% in just 3 months. We're now talking about a staggering $1.76 billion. That shows some serious confidence from users and developers.
And all of this added up to a massive leap in Sui's overall market value. Its circulating market cap blew past $9.4 billion. That's the result of some powerful momentum that we're about to unpack.
So how in the world did Sui pull this off? We're going to break it down into 4 main parts. First, we'll see how it stacked up against the rest of the market. Then we'll look at the 2 powerful engines that drove all this growth. And finally, we'll talk about what this all means for the future.
Okay, before we go any deeper, just a quick refresher. Sui is a layer 1 blockchain. So it's that base layer, kind of like Ethereum or Solana. But its real secret sauce is the Move programming language and its ability to process transactions in parallel. So, what does that actually mean? It means it's built from the ground up for one thing: insane speed and security, designed to handle a ton of users all at once.
Okay, so with that tech in mind, let's get into our first section. It's one thing to grow when the whole market is going up, but it's a whole other ballgame to just completely leave that market in the dust.
And you can see it right here in this chart. The broader crypto market had a pretty good quarter, yeah? Up about 23.5%. But Sui just blew past that with over 31% growth. This pushed it all the way up to become the 12th largest cryptocurrency. So yeah, Sui wasn't just riding the market wave, it was busy making its own.
So, what was fueling this thing? What was the secret? Well, it all starts with what we're calling the ecosystem growth engine. This is all about the explosion of activity happening on the Sui network itself, driven by a super vibrant world of DeFi and some really groundbreaking consumer apps.
And when you look inside that DeFi world, lending was absolutely king. Protocols like Sudiland and Navi became total powerhouses, grabbing nearly 60% of that $1.76 billion in locked value just between the two of them. People were clearly flocking to these platforms to lend, borrow, and earn, making them the financial heart of the whole ecosystem.
But, this kind of explosive growth, it's never a totally smooth ride. In May, the network faced a huge test. Cetus, its biggest decentralized exchange, got hit with a smart contract exploit. A whopping $223 million was at risk. This could have been an absolute catastrophe. And this is where things get really interesting. This is where you see what a network is truly made of. The response was fast and super decisive. They froze most of the stolen funds almost right away. The community of validators voted to approve a recovery, and the Sui Foundation even stepped in to make sure every single person affected got their money back. So what could have been a total disaster actually became this incredible show of strength and resilience.
But the ecosystem engine was firing on more than just DeFi. DeFi is huge, but the real excitement for getting everyday people on board, that's often in things like gaming and NFTs. And man, did Sui deliver here. The scene just absolutely exploded.
And this was real progress, not just hype. Pre-orders for Sui's very own handheld gaming device completely sold out. You had huge brands like One Championship and the legendary Samurai Showdown launching games on the network. And maybe most importantly, you had studios figuring out how to offer gas-free gaming, which is a total game changer for making it feel like a normal app.
But of course, none of this cool stuff works if the network can't handle the traffic, right? Well, take the Cleanosaurus NFT launch. This thing was massive. They processed millions of dollars in volume, and the total network fees came out to less than 800 Sui. Think about that. That's a real-world stress test that proves this thing can support huge consumer events for basically pocket change. It's incredible.
Okay, so that's the internal engine, but that brings us to the second piece of the puzzle, the adoption growth engine. If the first engine is about what's happening inside Sui,
This one is all about how the outside world, from Wall Street to your web browser, is plugging in and giving it a massive vote of confidence.
The big money is officially here. We're talking about huge names. Grayscale launched a Sui Trust. 21 shares filed for an ETF. Custody giants like Fireblocks and global brokers like Interactive Brokers are on board. Even the Athens Stock Exchange is building on Sui. These are basically the on-ramps and highways for serious, big-time capital to flow into the ecosystem.
And it's not just for the big guys in suits. For regular users like you and me, everything just got way, way easier. Support from major wallets like Ledger and Phantom means your assets are safer. Easier deposits on big exchanges, seamless transfers between chains, even getting integrated into Microsoft's data platform. It all just lowers the barrier to entry for everyone.
All right, so we've seen the record-breaking numbers. We've looked at the two big engines, the internal ecosystem and external adoption that powered this whole thing. So, what does it all mean? Where does Sui go from here?
I mean, when you just lay it all out like this, the story is undeniable. You see this compounding momentum everywhere you look. DeFi value up over 44%. Market cap up over 31%. Even network fees, which is a sign of real usage, grew by 19%. This isn't just a one-time thing. This is a foundation that is firing on all cylinders.
And the key takeaway here is that this amazing quarter, it wasn't the finish line. Not even close. It was all about building an even stronger launchpad for everything that's coming next. The focus is still on scaling the tech, connecting with other ecosystems, and just helping developers build the next big thing.
So, this quarter has definitely proved Sui's technical chops and its growing appeal. It really just leaves us with this one big question to think about. Has Sui finally put together the right mix of high-performance tech and wide-ranging adoption to be the blockchain that people use every single day, maybe without even realizing it? Thank you for joining this explainer.